Oh, I've got all these in.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you looked in and saw the throttle moving.
No.
Oh. Welcome back to... Hello, Dad. Is this our new project, is it? Yours, mine? Mine, is it?
Wow. It's ours.
It's ours. Before we show you, you had one of these, didn't you?
In the 80s.
In the 80s, 40 years ago. It's mostly one of the first cars. I remember my dad, well, I think it's one of the, we were saying the other day, one of the first cars you sort of stopped fully restored. You know, you repaired loads of cars before that, but this was one of those ones where it needed full restoration. So, yeah, we tried getting it back over the last few years. The original one, it's still around, but can't get hold of it. But another one cropped up, and yeah, let's show you. There it is. A Rochdale Olympic. Phase 2, isn't it, Dad, this one?
This is a phase 2.
Phase 2.
Mine was a phase 1.
Phase 1. Let me just swap the camera around. Yeah.
Fiberglass monocoque.
So what we got here, yeah, fiberglass.
Monocoque.
Not a kit car as such, is it? Because it was actually manufactured as such. And I don't think there was no such thing in the 70s and 80s of kit cars, were there really?
But partially built, yeah.
But yeah, you know, DVLA logbook, it's a Rochdale Olympic, it's its own make. It's way years before anyone knows about kit cars, before IVAs and all that sort of stuff. So it is what it is. Yeah, they did another one before this, like an ST, didn't they? Which was a bit of a, I think there was a few different models, but yeah. A few people used to race these as well, I think, didn't they, and stuff like that. But yeah, do we know how many phase 2s were built?
150.
150.
Roughly 150.
And how many phase 1s do we know?
250.
See, they're really not a lot, you know. Rochdale Owners Club, go check it out if you're interested. But yeah, so we picked this one up a few weeks back. Someone's done a lot of work on it, haven't they, Dad? I think not the owner we bought it off, but the previous owner did a lot, and you can already start seeing some of the stuff if you know what you're looking at. But fully rebuilt and designed, new subframes, all the suspension, brakes, fuel tank, fuel lines, fuel engine, everything. Is all new, but just never got to that last stage of actually getting it to run and actually sort of, you know, getting things anywhere. So the last owner was thinking about changing the engine back to a car, but we've bought it like this. It's come with the boxes of receipts and information, which we'll try and show you later. But yeah, so what we got on the engine front, and that's why I'm down, is we've got ourselves a Ford Zetec engine.
1600.
Which I try and insert a receipt in because we think it's actually new, and there's a little story behind it where there's a truck full of Ford engines that was going to the Ford factory, had a crash somewhere. Somebody bought, some of the sort of Ford guys bought the truck, or a company did, and they were selling off brand new block engines sort of thing that had never actually made it to the factory. So for 350 quid, I don't know when that was. What was the date on that? 80s, 90s? 90s.
20, yeah, 90s.
So yeah, so
2000.
So the person bought the engine. They also then went Gen V throttle bodies. So again, if you don't know those, they're like Weber carbs but fuel injection. But obviously everybody that knows Gen Vs knows that they're a decent piece of kit. We've got an Omex ECU that's come with it. All the sensors, a wire and loom, fuel rails, everything. Hopefully there's pumps all set up. Fingers crossed it's an injection. We haven't completely checked that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so that's more than be fine. That's fine. But yeah, everything's new. So the idea is we're going to just wire it up at least and just see. First we need to see if we can get the computer talking to the ECU, and just to see if the ECU's alive and we got some sort of power. And then after that, we then do crank the engine over and see if we get an RPM. You've already cranked the engine over by itself, checked that there's fluids and things in it. It's not filled up with water yet, but we're not bothered about that too much. We're just trying to, first stage is just get an RPM signal, then we'll work out a spark and fuel and go from there. So yeah, so it should be an interesting day. It'd be good if we can get this running, and you know, and then I can leave my dad to sort of do the rest, just to keep it mobile. As anyone with these projects know, that once you if you get them running and moving, it's a lot easier to sort of work on them and move them around. So
Get it onto the lift then.
have you started doing some filler work on the back already, Dad?
Yeah, both sides.
Yeah, we try and go more into some of this stuff because people changed the suspension setup, because I expect what they normally used to go for when they first came out. What people?
Well, they were coil springs, but it was a standard Rochdale setup.
But that would have been like some sort of rear axles, Fords and stuff like that, would it?
Yeah,
Or
Riley's
and stuff like that. But over the years, people sort of upgrade them slightly. So what back axle we got in this now?
Yeah, we've got a
Fiat one.
Larder.
Fiat or Larder type. And so we've got Fiat brakes, I guess, as well.
With a 5-point link suspension.
Yeah. So it's obviously made, it's made the track a bit wider. So the previous owner or one of the owners has tried to pull out the arches, which is fair enough. You know, a lot of people do that on these cars because, once you start running later axles, you lose, they do come out wider. So Dad's just having a bit of a fettle on that. So yeah, we'll go over more car later with a bit more details. But let's see if we can get the ECU talking first, and we can just add on more later. Now, so we've got some power going to the ECU. We've disconnected the fuel pump, injectors, and coil packs, just so we don't burn anything out or trigger anything. So we're gonna have to figure out this and figure out how to connect. Wow, that's fairly simple. It's connecting. It's runtime. It's got 13.3 volts because we've got it on charge.
No, I'll take it off.
Have you taken it off?
Charge, yeah, it'll just connect straight on the battery.
Okay, well, it's got 13 odd volts in it, so that's good. Engine speed 0. The quick thing we could quickly look at is, can you move the throttle, Dad, at all? The throttle? And we see if we get a... Yep, we get a throttle signal, so the TPS raw signal.
Yeah, that's loose at the moment.
Which you sort of sometimes have to calibrate those to be minimum stuff, but again, that's all good. So coolant temperature says 0, which seems a little strange. You would have thought it would have been...
Yeah, that's connected.
You would have thought it would have... an air temp looks 0 as well. Which, just out of interest...
This is air temp.
Yeah, which you'd think it would be 10 degrees or whatever.
Does it need...
They normally run their own separate earths to those sensors.
Right.
May need calibrating as well, sometimes. Okay, we just tried to crank it over and got no signal, so... we need to check. There's a sensor setup page here, and this to do with crankcase sensors. All looks a bit defaulted, so yeah, we'll figure something out. No, so the first thing we're doing is we're checking. These are the jumper pins here. So basically, there's jumper pins in here to define what type of sensor you've got on your crank hall or magnetic. I don't know, whatever. So we just need to double check those because there's no jumpers. So let's check what the book says and put some. See if we've got some jumpers. There you go, that's what a trigger wheel looks like, the sensor signal. And you get a missing one. We've just played with some settings. And yeah, just see if anything registers on the RPM. Go on then. All right. No, but I definitely got something.
Oh, what do you mean?
Okay, after messing about with the crank sensor, we never got completely there. Managed to contact Omex, and within 10 minutes they've emailed us a base map, so we're just trying to load that now. We were getting signals from the crank, but we just weren't getting an RPM, and we're getting a timing error. So something wasn't quite right, so let's hope this might have fixed it, but gives us a different starting point. Okay, base map loaded. We've got temperature now, so they've been calibrated correctly. These sensors, I think, came from Omex as well, so yeah. Let's just hit the crank, just see what happens. What are we looking for? Engine speed at the bottom there. Yes!
191.
Yeah, so we've got RPM now, so that means we can now trigger everything else. We can trigger ignition and firing and fuel as well.
So what we had in the ECU wasn't...
There's loads of settings. There was, when I looked at the fuel maps, they were just empty. There was nothing there. So hopefully we've got fuel maps as well. All right, so we've connected. That's no good. Let's move that to there. There we go. We've connected the coil pack up. So we're going to crank it and see if we can get a spark. I don't know if you're going to see it, but we'll have a look. No spark there yet.
No.
It sounded like it fired a little bit though, didn't it? It must have been just a spark. Okay, sit rep after a good few hours of fiddling with things and calling Omex or chatting to them. Still not 100% sure what's going on, but we know there's something to do with the wiring not quite right. Not blaming Omex at all. This is a loom that's been touched. It is an Omex loom, but been touched over the years. So basically what we found out was that when we crank, or we're not getting power to the main sort of the coils and the injectors. And we can't see another feed coming into the loom anywhere. So weirdly enough, that we've traced stuff through, and the O2 sensor positive seems to go to one side of the relay, and then the other side of the relay goes to the coils. So we've just put 12 volts on that and cranked it over, and we get spark because now we've got stuff. So we do get spark, so that shows that it's cranking, and we're getting a crankcase sensor, and there's some sort of timing going on. Fingers crossed that the injectors will work, so I think it's just a case of bunging the plugs back in, Dad, and sticking some fuel in. Yeah, we obviously need to power the fuel pump somehow. Yeah, let's figure that out, because that's the fuel pump relay, so that should be powering the fuel pump.
Yeah.
But then there's no wire for it, because that was going to another relay to then power the fuel pump.
Yeah.
Weird stuff going on here. We're getting there, but yeah, weird. Yeah, so basically what we've just figured out is that actually there's a pin missing out of the relay, out of this main relay. So that's what was causing the problem. Cheers, Omex, and we've just pushed the wire in for now. So what we're just going to do now is we've just put a gallon of fuel in, and we're just going to check for some leaks. If you grab your little light over here, just so we can. So if we power the fuel pump just manually for now.
It might be squashed, that pipe, I'm not sure yet. So.
Can you hear the fuel pump going?
Yeah.
So you can hear it sucking some fuel now.
Should be going back then.
Well, it's mostly got to fill up the old fuel field as well, so. Maybe that's dumping back into the tank,
Or it's squashed.
or it's just pissing out. Do you want to have a quick look at the back just to see if there's anything going on the floor? Anything on the floor? No. It's going somewhere then. Doesn't sound the most healthiest of pumps, is it, that? But
Well, it was working all right until it filled up.
yeah, so
I'm just wondering if that
maybe that's
squashed.
it's just
And it's
squeaking a bit. So what I'd say, Dad, is if you're in charge of the pump, and we'll just give it a crank and just see if anything starts. I'll move you around here so you can catalogue the fire if. You might give it a crank and we'll just see if
This one here.
yeah, we could just do a quick crank now. We've got a bit of fuel pressure, just see without anything, and then let's see what happens. Not too much. All right, put some power on it and see if we can. No. We haven't lost spark as well. We've got that, so did that come out?
Oh. No. Maybe all that in there as well. Yeah.
Maybe we need a proper spray too. So I couldn't tell whether we were losing power on the cranking or not. A few little bodges, but obviously yeah, we weren't going to get the spark.
Just try again.
It's trying to fire. A bit more. What it sounds like is maybe running out of hands, so let's wire up some of this, put a spade on that so that's not coming off, because that sounds like you might want to give it a little bit of throttle.
Throttle, yeah.
Because obviously it could be cold, the idle thing. Maybe it's not even the throttle. Maybe the throttles aren't even open, if you see what I mean. Yeah, so we've just opened it up a little bit on the idle just to see, because Maybe they're completely shut.
Can you pass the torch? Let's see how much.
Also, you don't even know if they're, well, they should be too unbalanced to in pairs, but it could,
Oh,
you get the wrong way with them.
no, it's opened a bit.
Okay, so maybe they were completely, you know.
It's opened a little bit. Not very much.
No, you don't need much of the sort of things anyway, but you definitely need more than nothing.
Let's try it once more then.
We're getting there. Definitely fire. So we've got everything, just all not in the right amounts.
I think you might need a bit more throttle too.
Yeah, so let's wire it up a little bit better so we can then, you can just activate the throttle and really give it,
Okay.
you know, sometimes these throttle bodies, when they're cold, they really need a little bit of,
Yeah.
bit of air, bit of breathing. Back in a bit. Seemed like it had a bit of fuel in the start, and then, you know, then it's like nowhere near this much fuel on the cranking. Randomly looks at the settings.
No leaking. Should I? Oh, I've got all these in.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you looked in and saw the throttle moving.
No.
Oh. What have you put in there, Dad?
No, it's just too.
Yeah. I wonder why it's not running.
They're sucked in, haven't they?
They sucked in, have they?
Let's get those out.
I wonder what made them suck in. Oh yeah, because we're turning the engine over. Back in a second.
Oh, because they're in there, aren't they?
Well, it's just trying to suck them in, isn't it?
Shall we just punch them through?
Yeah, you don't need them anymore. You'll put air fills, aren't you? Or otherwise, we're going to have to then take the Allen keys off and
Yeah.
you can try and
Let's put a bit of rag on there. So. I think it sucked them in tight, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, might even be a bit of suction on there if you sort of mean so. Otherwise you're going to have to undo the Allen keys and take the trumpets off and then we can.
That's one.
We've got one. Yeah. Yeah. They might have stopped it running. We do love simple, stupid problems, though, because at least you know. I thought you saw the throttle. I thought you saw the throttle opening earlier.
No.
Ah, you were just looking at something else.
When I did my cylinder head, I put rags in the ports when I was grinding it and matching it. Left the rags in there, put all the cylinder head back, and they got sucked in and kept the valves open. And I wonder why it wouldn't run.
It's nearly as good as when you said you tried to make a copper exhaust manifold once, didn't you, Dad?
Yeah.
It melted.
Yeah, all the silver stuff.
I bet that looked really good though when you'd done it, before you sort of sorted this. I've made an exhaust manifold. Alright. Yeah. We had spark, we had fuel. We actually flooded the damn thing out there.
Oh, could be. I won't.
You won't, yeah.
I won't.
Because then you can pull it off if it starts to rev up. Listen. Oh. Sounded like it was running on 2, but yes. Oh. But yeah, that didn't sound.
That one doesn't go right down.
That didn't sound. Yeah. Well, what you could do now is maybe whip the plugs out again while I'm busy, and
So I'll use that new set.
yeah, definitely, yeah. But we could have flooded one by just thing. That's good, wasn't it? It just started once you've given it some air. Nana. Yeah, but yeah, it definitely wasn't running right, but it was running.
No.
It was enough to run. It wasn't cutting out. So yeah, nice new set of plugs in it. Maybe worth sticking some water in it now as well, because then we can run it for a bit longer and get it up. Because the trouble is, it's on the cold map as well, and it could be really well out, if you sort of mean. Yeah, I didn't see any charging.
No. Okay.
Whether it's worth now wiring the ECU up into the proper ignition switch as well, just yet, I don't know, just so we can kill it easy without...
Yeah.
Because I was quite surprised how long that ran without...
Yeah.
Without fuel pressure, if you sort of mean so much.
Yeah.
But then it's on idle and cold, it just needs a bit of... Well, it ran, innit? No clouds of smoke either. Yeah, so whatever reason the alternator hasn't got... I still saw the light on the dash though.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't, maybe it's not wired. There's something else to look at.
Yeah.
Because I know with my other stuff, it's nice to get that charging, otherwise you end up getting a flat battery all the time.
Yeah. You see, where's that light gone?
Okay. It looks like it's already got water in it. Dad's had a quick look at that. So change the plugs over as well to some new fresh ones. Just a little celebratory step 2.
So let's just try and run it up again.
Why the hell not, eh? Yeah, I've got
We put that wired that up, didn't we?
Yeah, you were just holding that. Oh yeah, we need to put that back in manually. We don't have a switch yet for that whole ECU.
So what was I doing? What did I have to hold? The pump?
Yeah, the pump basically.
There.
So yeah, there's definitely an ignition light that comes on. So that must be going to earth somewhere. Just added the old temperature gauge on there, so we're at 52, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we don't know if there's a fan, is there an electric fan on it? Have you seen?
Yeah, it's not wired in though.
No.
There is an electric fan on it.
But we can do that as well on this auxiliary. Back in a bit. Might have a bit of anti-freeze in it because it doesn't go quick. It doesn't evaporate quickly, does it sometimes? But keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's water coming out of the rocket cover. Should be coming out of there, should it? Why it's mostly, it's got a little bit of a rock to it, isn't it? I don't know. A little panic over. We think it's not water. It's a bit of oil, very thin oil, but obviously it's got brand new oil in it, sort of thing. So
it is.
Just dripping out. So it's the gaskets.
It's the cam gasket.
Which I think you read the advert that, or you saw in the paperwork that it didn't. The original engines didn't come with a head on it. So maybe, you know, it's been a cam cover.
It didn't come with a cam cover.
I thought you said something. You said, "Oh, it didn't come with a cam cover in the advert, in the paperwork somewhere." Oh, the cam cover, there, the plastic stuff. Yeah, needs whipping off, and either a new gasket, obviously, or just a bit of sealant for now.
Well,
we could actually get a gasket down the local shop. Oh. It's the old carry-on now, isn't it? When you say, "Oh, what's your reg number?"
It's leaking down the side, down there as well. Do you see it's dripping now?
Yeah.
That's oil. Because water would be burning off. I think just whip that cam cover off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
And if we look at the paperwork, he says what colour he's used.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In the.
Yeah.
Well, so you think it's already wired into some sort of switch, do you? Or
It
don't?
might be wired into
a relay switch. Because we could always then wire that into the actual ECU as well, you know, so it comes on and off. What fans we got here? Panel, lights, wiper, heater. That goes off and off. Cup of tea. No, what's this one? Nothing. Oh, that's a kill switch under there.
Yeah, that's got a kill switch.
A little bit broken, yeah. There's a bit of glue on that, or a bit of just get the soldering iron on it, just to melt it a little bit. Yeah, you don't want that catching on it too much, do you?
So the top one did get damaged, I expect. So I want 10 for there, don't I? Let's take all the plug leads off.
God. Well, is it just worth seeing if Euro car parts, if we can figure out what model, and just order up a...
It's got stretched a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
See, that's been trapped, isn't it?
That's...
Like that.
Yeah, so which...
And this has been trapped on this side. This is the side it was leaking.
No, it wasn't. It's this side, wasn't it? Or was that the front? No, yeah, so it was this side, at the back, you definitely saw that, that was the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't, it hasn't been in it, so it's just...
No, it hasn't been in the groove, has it?
You can maybe try, and if you've got a bit of silicone,
glue it in.
Just to glue it in just for now.
Yeah, it might go in. Oh, some top apps in there. It's just dropped out, mate.
Yeah. Okay, for now, what we've managed to do is, you saw it was all buckled up, we managed just to keep it in the gap with a little bit of super glue. Obviously a new gasket will be ordered in the future, but yeah, we've just got it back down again, so we'll clamp that back up. And see if that helps the leakiness. I had a quick look at the radiator fan underneath as well. It's just got one of the old school temperature sensors that are built into the radiator. So we'll have a look, see if that kicks in. Charging light went out earlier, I don't know if I said, so that's good, it's charging.
Yeah, I don't think all the fans wired up though. I don't think. Is that? There it is. Let's just get these down.
And the next one of the things to do before I go is we'll try and get the clutch blade as well, because that'd be good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where'd I put that?
At least we know oil's getting up at the top with it coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, run it up again.
Yeah.
See if it cruise it. Use your fuel up.
Oh, but the throttle, come on.
Cold start mode at the moment as well. Yeah. If you run your cold map, yeah. That oil. Yeah. Well, no more appearing, that's for sure. I think it's just burning metallic sound. I think that's the exhaust. Yeah. It's got a bit of echo to it. Yeah. It sounds a bit stainless steel, but I don't think it is. It sounds like stainless steel, but it's not. I bet that. I bet that costs something. Well, it costs more than stainless. Let the clutch a little bit.
Oh, I've got to connect this ECU up, haven't we? There it is. Little one, isn't it? That one?
Yeah. Couldn't get the clutch to work completely. I think the leverages are wrong, or there's something a bit not right. Things to investigate. I bought this ram once for my dad about 10-15 years ago. 300 quid I think we paid. Took him weeks to get it back together again. Up here on a trailer. Was 3-phase, converted to 1-phase with an inverter, now back down to a 1-phase motor. It's like my shack, but on steroids. Yeah, get some light. Let's have a look under this beastie. Yeah, 5-speed box. Yeah, it's just... The thing is, the whole thing's been rebuilt and things have been designed. It just hasn't been, lightly or, nothing wrong with anyone. They just ran out of time, I guess, so it just needs lots of little tweakings. Things just undoing and checking again. Careful, Dad. But yeah, that clutch hose is rubbing on the...
Oh, that's crude.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we had issues with the... Yeah, so this is way too thin, this bracket, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flexion, isn't it?
And you could easily change the leverages on that as well.
Oh, it's bent, Matthew. It's gone bent. Looks like it's bent.
Doesn't help.
I don't know if it's...
Doesn't help.
No,
but that's changeable. It can definitely move closer for leverages wise. Yeah, not sure what's going on with the 4-into-1 there, but
that's rubbing on there.
Yeah, it's good that you got up on here now. You can go through all these little things now. Just having a because I think.
What's that?
I don't know, it could be the reversing sensor, or is it?
I was touching the exhaust as
yeah. Well. Well, that's what you get when you buy a project car, isn't it? You get loads of little things. No offence to anyone, everyone's done their own thing over time. People have had half hour here, rush there, whatever. You're going to redo something at some point. They knew they were going to, but you just don't get time. And then you sell the project. So, I'm not going to beat anyone up about things. We all do things differently as well. Yeah. So they're taking the feed from the drain of the old tank, and then the old feed is the return now. But things all can be changed. God, you can hardly see much under the front here because it's literally all fiberglass there, isn't it? Yeah, really can't see much. Okie dokie. I've gone and got my dad some brekkie and a coffee. We got another 4 or 5 hours before I need to sort of head off and upload a video as well. So end of last night, I didn't really film it. We had it up on the ramps as you saw. We disconnected some of the clutch because there's not enough throw in the clutch, hydraulic clutch that's been created. So we need to sort of temporarily increase that today because we've got about 1 centimetre of movement. We need about 2.5 centimetres to be sure. So yeah, let's go inside, eat this. I'll see if I can show you the paperwork some of the stuff we got. It's like 3 folders full, but I think one's out in the shed. But yeah, let's go see Dad. Okay, yeah, so this is some of the paperwork we got. We've got 3 ring binders, the big thick ring binders of paperwork. I don't know, where's that? You just had sorry, I should have showed. There's a picture just a second ago. Oh yeah, look, wiring colour, information about all the wiring. There was drawn a diagram of all the radiator system and all the flow, like a Haynes manual sort of thing.
We've got all this.
Yeah, he's got sort of printed off information that he's found around, you know, introduction to the Zetec cooling system. We've got receipts here in this one. Got all pictures of the
original articles, sketches of the subframe, front subframe.
That he's created a new subframe. So yeah, all sketches and drawings of that.
Information on the Lotus Elan. And the other one, we've got all the receipts that...
Yeah, all the parts that he's bought that haven't been made.
Brand new.
And then, yeah, as I said, the one in the garage, we've got, it's all to do with the electronics and the ECU side, which is all the manuals and everything.
And on each article.
Yeah, categorised as well, that.
All
tabs.
categorised. Bodywork.
Yeah, because there's some pictures around, isn't there? Because he split the rear arches to make it slightly wider to clear wheels.
Suspension and steering.
Yeah, this is all stuff that the previous owners have written all up. Mad.
Electrical, all the electrical sketches of how he's wired it all up. Dashboard. Omex wiring
again.
Ah,
we could have done with that yesterday, Dad. But anyway, we figured it out.
that's electrical. Then you got braking system.
Yeah, that's all what he's written up himself.
And information on rear axle, which is a Fiat, and all the information he's got on it. Final drive ratios. That's a rear axle. Rear prop shaft. That's been specially made to adapt from the MT75 gearbox to the...
Yeah, it has an MT75 gearbox, if anybody knows about those as well. That'd be nice just to see if there's any concentric internal slaves or other slaves as well for the clutch.
That's the gearbox, yeah.
Yeah. Just keeps on going.
Clutch. The Zetec fitted with a standard Escort flywheel and clutch. Throw out bearing is by Westfield sports cars who are experienced at marrying the Zetec engine to the Ford MT75 gearbox.
Convert to hydraulic to make sure the original Rochdale pail box. Fabricate it back. Yeah, so that's what we're slightly changing today because it's not quite.
It's not
the right ratios really, so you know. But you know.
Ignition system. That's the ECU. Fuel and exhaust. That's all been fuel tanks of Volvo 340. Fuel filler cap, Spitfire.
Fuel filler cap.
Fuel takeoff has been fitted to the bottom of the tank. Fuel is piped then to the electrical fuel pump Evoque or SRI. The braided flow pipe is routed through to the frame tunnel to a second filter before the injector, fuel rail and pressure regulator. Omex special fuel injectors are fitted to the Gen V throttle bodies. Surplus fuel routed back through the frame tunnel to discharge into the top of the tank. Pressure regulator 3.5 bar.
Yeah, Bosch cream injectors.
So it all works.
Yeah,
and
that is
no leaks or anything.
No.
So
Good on that. That was good. That was.
There's the cooling system.
Yeah.
Cooling system, and that's what the cooling system is.
Yeah. All right. Well, go through that paperwork all day. There's tons of it. Newspaper clippings and all sorts. Yeah.
And then the engine. It hasn't got a part number because it's a brand new engine.
So, yeah. Well, let's finish up and get out there. Okay, after a few beers at the pub last night, we've come up with this idea. You can see we've started to build it now. We've built a plate that goes from one of the back bolts here to one of the front bolts here. That's then going to now mount the master cylinder, the slave cylinder, and we're just creating a linkage now, a pivot, to increase the movement to make the clutch work. So this may be temporary, but actually this could be on here for quite a while. It's looking quite good. And I am inside doing the wiring at the moment, trying to get the ECU mounted inside the car and working properly off an ignition switch. So hopefully we can get this sorted, that sorted, and make it move under its own steam. Then we call it a wrap. Yeah, when you're wearing your high heels, that cable that comes down, I'll show you guys later. All right, so ignition onto the second. Wait for the fuel pump to climb.
It's out of here.
It's very cold.
There's nothing.
I think it's where the clutch or the gearbox oil is causing it to move a little bit, isn't it? I think.
Oh, right, yeah. Hanging.
Yeah.
It may not be absolutely in alignment.
Yeah. I've heard worse individual throttle bodies. So it's just very cold. The cold idle mixture's all. You haven't even balanced them yet either as well, you know.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we made, or Dad's made as well. Metal Jubilee clip holding the slave cylinder on with an L bracket. You can see the pivoting point there. Increases the movement. We've put a spring on it for the moment, tied back to a bolt just to get things going. We've threaded the rod on the end there, so we've got a bit of adjustment. You hold the camera, Dad, and I'll try and don't get your fingers. Take your fingers away from the.
Oh.
And I'll try and operate it. Right, there's got to be more movement than there was yesterday, regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. And down. Down.
Okay, back. And again. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Let's
Yeah, it's the camera.
lower it and try it. All right, yeah, we're going to try it. Must have made no difference to us,
No, that's not enough.
These seats are tiny! On the key. Yeah, that's it.
We've got a bit of a clutch, so
Yeah,
we're on the right track.
It's a bit bitey, but it's yeah, you've got a clutch. So you can move it, you
Yeah.
know, and refine the clutch now and get it better, you know, and look at the top part and, you know, maybe there's some air trapped somewhere, I don't know, you know.
Or that slave zone, maybe.
Oh, that slave's not right, you know, yeah.
Not the
I can't believe moving the top bit.
No,
the top part of the pedal doesn't move
move
nothing.
it.
It's nothing, you know, so it's either some soft
Unless
top
the
bit.
lever's too short or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It needs taking off, doesn't
Yeah, the master might not be great either, so.
it? Yeah.
Well,
So,
should we get it back
Get it
into the
back,
other
yeah.
shack and then that'll be the end of the video? Because, yeah,
yeah.
I think that's quite a good success to get this running and moving. Yeah, I had to remove I pulled the washer bottle pipes through just to give me some space to put the wiring loom back in. So yeah, we'll do a bit more of a full video another time with all the interior and bits and bobs, what's going on in there. But yeah, the ECU's now mounted just for the moment, just up in there. And I've got it starting on the button for my dad, so that's all good. So yeah, let's get it out. Nice big shot of my dad's shack 2.0. Whoa. If I lived here, back in a minute once we've got it started. Seems a bit bitey, isn't it? But you've got a bit of space now, so. Ya-da-da-la-la. I shouldn't do that, I get copyrighted. Alright, this is going to be the end of the video, so hopefully you enjoyed it. I've had a good 24 hours at my dad's. Don't touch the brakes. Oh, we touched the brakes yesterday and the front one's locked on, so I think that's better to lock the brakes up. I expect you've locked the front brakes on now, haven't you?
No, I use the handbrake.
Ah, it worked. Cool. Yeah, it's mobile, isn't it, Dad? You've got a car that moves.
Yeah. It's all the body work to do now. And everything.
Well, it's been a good 24 hours, Dad.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone's enjoyed the video. Thanks to the ECU company, Omex. Absolutely smashed the support on email. Yeah, sent the link to them as well.
Thumbs up to them.
Thumbs up to them. Yeah, base mat, bang, sorted all our problems. We got it going. All the rest was just wiring, just from just at the age where the project's just been laying around. You know, wires get moved around. And yeah, let us know when it's finished, Dad. We'll come drive it. All right, say goodbye, Dad.
Cheers.